welcome back, everybody, to for now the CONCACAF connection.
We still haven't discussed it.
We're gonna have to actually seriously discuss it because we have a CONMEBOL fan, Abdon.
Fan.
CONMEBOL in the UEFA though.
It's just the Americas podcast. It's fine.
No, CONMEBOL.
Is he a CONMEBOL fan?
He is.
He said that he supports is Italy.
Well, okay, Abdon, do you actually? Okay, well, okay, they're both kind of shitty teams right now.
We can talk about it. Whoa. We'll talk about that.
I'm just saying.
We'll talk off
Hey,
off the record.
Abdon finally got a camera.
Yay! We're proud of
The
him.
brows and the beard.
He looked good. He looked good.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Look good.
But yeah, this episode we're gonna be pretty much discussing everything from match week 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I just can't remember if we were in match week 2 or match week 3. But yeah, and then maybe some transfers, but we're in a dry spell right now. I know for transfer deadline day it's gonna be fucking stupid.
Well, Mason
Because
Greenwood too. Mason Greenwood too, Daniel.
Ooh,
There's some
yeah.
transfers that just happened.
Huh?
There's some transfers that just happened overnight.
Like what?
They need with
Lewis Hall went to Newcastle.
Boo.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy Doku.
Yeah. That's
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We can do a little recap after we talk about the games.
Yeah. Where do you want to start, Daniel?
What was the first game?
Yeah, what was the most exciting game that we had? Was it Tottenham?
Chelsea. Oh, Tottenham versus Man
Chelsea
United
or
was
Tottenham,
big. Yeah.
Tottenham winning 2-0. You wanna start, Eddie?
Ooh.
Yeah, I can start. Yeah, it was an awesome. I mean, I wasn't able to watch the whole 90 minutes, but not gonna lie, I was definitely shithousing work during a lot of that game so that I could watch on my phone, just because it was such an inspirational or like such an inspired performance by the players and by the team and by the fans. The atmosphere was ridiculous. Like the stadium was louder than I've heard it in a long time. Like I've seen a lot of fans posting videos from inside. The fans were so class. But yeah, just a really, really good performance. Really impressed. First half was a little rough. Well, maybe not the whole first half, but most of the first half was a little rough. But they grew into the game, like we were saying. Basuma again was just so good.
And Sarr.
Sarr was awesome for just a 20-year-old to score the goal, set the tone, boss the midfield. I'm telling you, man, like the way we play is so much fun to watch. I'm so pissed that I only get to watch once a week. Like, honestly, I've been missing it. Even if we lose or even if we have games like the Brentford game, we're just exciting to watch again. We play attacking football. We're creating chances and like the players are having fun playing like a team. Like I've seen a lot of fans on Twitter that are talking about the it's called like the Ewing theory, which this is a American sports term or an NBA term where when you have one big name player who dominates the headlines, it's like detrimental to the team's success because Patrick Ewing was on the Knicks and was the best player on the Knicks, like arguably the best player in the world, but they were just never there as a team and they never were able to win. And then the year he left, the Knicks won the finals. So people are saying like, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying like it's the Ewing theory, like not that Harry Kane was necessarily holding them back, but like they're more together as a team now that all the Kane drama is gone. And I definitely agree with that. I definitely see more of a team now that all the dark cloud of when is Kane going to leave? Where is he going to go? Like now that all that is gone, it's a lot brighter and a lot more of a team. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying watching.
You also don't have the Conte drama to deal with either.
And that too, yeah.
Yeah, and then with Kane leaving, you guys almost get a fresh start. Because I feel like if Kane were to stay, not that there wouldn't be any, because you guys have expectations, but I feel like the expectations are lower, which is a good thing. Because if Kane was there, it would be a lot higher than it should be. So him
It would be
leaving,
like top. It would be like top 4 or bust with Kane.
yeah,
Whereas now it's like we're kind of under the radar. Like we're kind of underdogs right now, and it's like we could like I think like now we're like looking like maybe we could sneak into Europe. Like because we're kind of like that underdog, like under the radar. Like we're still. I'm not saying we're not like a big six. Like we're still a big club, but based on the players and based on just like the state, I feel like we're gonna get overlooked and underestimated by a lot of teams and a lot of like people. And I definitely think that's a good thing for us to have.
You know, one thing I was thinking of while watching Tottenham play was if there was, since the Kane drama's been going on for the last couple of years, you know, we've all said that he needs to leave. He just needs to leave. If there was ever a time I think he should have stayed, it would have been right now. Only because watching Richarlison kind of play a similar game that Kane played week in, week out, I almost think that the best striker, and I know there was a lot of like tactical videos and people talking about how Kane, it wouldn't have worked in the system, or it would have been, the system would have worked better without Kane. And that could still prove true. But I think watching Richarlison play, I think Kane would have been the perfect striker for this system. You know, where we wouldn't have necessarily said that for Conte or Jose Mourinho with the way they press, with the way they kind of sit back and make the striker work, you know, harder off the ball. And this would have been the only time I would have looked at Kane and gone, maybe you should stay for an extra season. I understand why he left, but I just, like I said, just watching that performance against Manchester United, I just think Kane would have made that scoreline so much worse for United.
Yeah, I mean that's valid. I'm sorry, Daniel. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's what I said last week. Like, I think he should have just taken a chance and just stayed and stick it out for one more season, because it would have sucked for Tottenham to let him go on a free in the summer, but he could have at least seen what Ange had to offer for the team, and if he liked it, he could have signed for another, year or two, and then leave. But like I said, or like you said, I agree with what you said. Like I understood why he left, but I think he could have. I think he should have just stuck it out for one more season, because then he could have been free. Then he could have gone anywhere he would have wanted to. So, but it is what it is. Like, it's done, and yeah, that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And it looks like, I mean, I'm looking at it with, Tottenham colored glasses, maybe more so than anyone else, but you can definitely see the clear vision from Ange and like the way he wants to play and, the way he sets up and like the style, the players that we bought and that are using, like the vision is very, very clear. And like Kane, like he played in preseason, he was in training with Ange, so if Kane didn't see it then, he was not going to see it during while playing, unless we went on like a ridiculous run. So I just think he reached the point where he wanted to go. This like I understand maybe if he stayed and we nabbed a League Cup or something, then maybe. But like at the end of the day, I think he's had one foot out the door for the last few seasons anyway.
Yeah,
and I don't necessarily think Ange's vision was going to change his mind, because like I said, he was there in training, and I know it's different than, but like the vision is clear, and I'm sure it was clear on the training ground and during preseason. So he just didn't want to be there anymore, and you can't fault him for that.
No, you
I
can't.
think you're going the wrong way about it, though, because it could be that he saw his one opportunity to go to a team other than like Manchester United, who were the only team in England that were in for him. Bayern, if they don't get Kane, they get another striker. There's no chance Bayern doesn't fill that role this summer if they can't get Kane. They're not going to wait a whole year for him to come out. So he might just seen it as his only opportunity to go to Bayern, which maybe he really wants to go to Bayern, or let's be honest here, Madrid's going to go for Mbappe or Haaland within either next year or in 2 years. So he might have just seen it as like, hey, if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna get that big money move to that big team that's been wanting me for the last fucking 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My
that's a good
only
point.
thing that I see with the whole Kane Levy situation, that hole that's been left there, if Daniel Levy was smart, he would buy someone like a Balogun off of Arsenal and stick him up top. Fuck Richarlison. He's not gonna work out there, let's be honest here. You bet in your fucking new striker with no real pressure of succeeding because you have all these guys around you that can still score. It's a little different as in, like, let's say with the Chelsea where, like, everyone in the fucking front line can't fucking score to save their life. Like, you have Son, you have Madison, you have Kulusevski, like, they can all bang in the goals while this guy, catches his feet. If he was smart.
Yeah.
And the rumors are today that Jonathan David is the target as the window comes to a close. So I think that would be a good one. I think good shout as well. I'll be really, really intrigued to see how hard we push for a striker, because doesn't the window close on the 1st?
Yeah, it closes on the 1st.
So
It's a
there's
bit iffy,
9.
though. Just in terms of
There's-
like time zones.
Yeah. There's 9 days left, roughly, which means it's like you got to start acting now if you're serious about bringing in another striker. And I guess we're preparing an offer for David, Balogun, and other players. So I'll be a little disappointed if they don't buy another striker. It'll be interesting though. Like I said, 9 days left. You gotta kind of expect they're gonna ramp it up within at least the next couple days.
I gotta point something out too. How much do you like was it Skip and who's your other center mid?
Sar,
Bentaker.
Bentaker, yeah, Bentaker, Sar, Basuma.
Hoiberg.
Oh, Hoiberg.
Because one thing you gotta pay attention to is you're all up on this high with Basuma and Sar, and I can understand it because they played great. They're gonna be gone for AFCON.
Oh
Both of
yeah.
They're
Well,
both
did
gonna
they
be gone for
qualify
AFCON.
for their teams? Like, did their respective nations qualify?
I think they both are Senegalese.
Yeah, and Senegal is one of the top African teams.
Oh,
the
okay.
continent.
No.
But I mean, to
So-
be
I might be mistaken. Let me double check that. But I
No,
think they're both
Basuma's
Senegalese.
Mali.
oh, is he Mali? Mali's made
That's
it the
right.
last couple of times.
Basuma is Mali and Senegal. Sar is Senegalese. When
Sarr
is
will probably
AFCON?
gone.
I think
That's
December.
going to be like in
January.
January, February.
December, January time frame.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna-
like Skip. I like Skip. Hoiberg's interesting. He's been linked with moves out, so I don't think he's gonna be on the team come AFCON. But we also have Bentancur coming back from injury later this month, or later next month. I mean, so yeah, I think we'll be fine.
So another thing that
With
you gotta
them
think
gone.
about is if you don't like your dudes, you gotta pay attention to that as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I totally did not think about that. That'll throw an interesting wrench into the midfield with those two gone.
Well, let me ask you something, Eddie. I was thinking about it after Tottenham won that game. With all the pressure that Ange got, after being hired for the job and going into preseason, with everyone basically writing his season off and him being one of the first managers to get sacked. So, with the news of Harry Kane leaving, everyone basically writing Ange off from the moment he got the job going into the season, him being the number one name on everyone's first to be sacked list. How big of a statement? Granted, it's only 2 games into the season. There's a lot of games to still be played, but 2 very good performances from Tottenham. How big of a statement, especially is it going against the Ten Hag Man United, where they're touted to be title challengers this season? How big of a statement is that for Ange, winning this type of game without Harry Kane?
Yeah, it's it's definitely a big statement. Like you said, title challenging United, the biggest club, popularity wise and size wise in the league, always have the expectations of being towards the top. They have a new good manager, Ten Hag, they're bringing in quality players, Onana, it's definitely one of those statement games where like it's probably one of those games that Ange and the team circled on the calendar. Like I'm sure they did with City, I'm sure they did with Arsenal, Chelsea. Like when you're a new manager implementing your style and your vision, those are the games you really want to impress people because that's the games casual fans are going to be watching. Those like everyone's going to be watching games. Everyone's going to see Man United, Tottenham, and they're going to yeah. Two big clubs. I want to watch that game, and it's up to Ange to make sure his team looks good and turn those heads. And I think he did just that. I would think. I mean, we cooked them in the second half. They looked awful in the second half, also. But it was largely in part because of how well we were playing. Like I don't want to discredit what we were doing, because we were just playing so well that United were never in. They were never in.
Keep cutting in and out, Eddie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit. But no, I agree with you 100%. And, for the first time, I think, I don't know, maybe since the creation of the London Stadium, it's your stadium's London Stadium, isn't it? That's not West Ham.
No, that's West Ham.
No, West
You're the
Ham's
Tottenham
London.
Hotspur Stadium, aren't you?
Yeah.
But that's probably the loudest I've seen it get in that stadium for a while. And I mean, fair dues, I mean, like you said, you guys played Manchester United, especially in the second half, off the park. And I also think Ange did a lot of little tweaking, to really make things more difficult for Manchester United in the second half. And I also think that these young kids that you guys brought in, because Abdon said in the last week's episode, it's a new back line. That's kind of scary. But you had your goalkeeper step up. You had very good individual
he was so
performances.
good.
Yeah, you had a lot of individual performances in the back line. Obviously, the resurgence of Basuma was big. Sarr was phenomenal. They grew into it, and it felt like they were almost feeding off that pressure of how big the game was, better than the Manchester United players were. So, I mean, I think it's a sign of good things for Tottenham.
Basuma had Casemiro in a spliff multiple times. I just want to say that.
Well, did someone say something?
Mm-mm.
Oh
No, he was just laughing.
well, I think United. I don't want. I mean, and again, it's only 2 games in, but they're looking pretty rough. I think the fact that they spent a lot of money on Onana, Mount, that striker for Atalanta, Højlund.
Hoyland. I think it's Hoyland.
Okay. And it's and he's injured. Mount hasn't impressed. And I'm not saying Onana hasn't been good, because he has been. It's just that he can only do so much before goals just start going in.
Yeah.
But I really don't see them being as successful as they should be.
Well, I think the Spurs game, I don't know. I was gonna say being outplayed by a team like Tottenham, I think you can live with that, because whether they have expectations or not, whether they're bottlers or not, they're still a Big Six club. They still have good players. They still have a good home stadium, home atmosphere. I think if you're a team like Man United, or Chelsea or whoever, you can live with losing a game like that more so than the Wolves game, because they were played off the field. They're not off the field, but Wolves deserved something from that game. And there were stretches of the game where Wolves were better than United were in Old Trafford also. So I almost think the 1-0 win against Wolves was honestly worse than the 2-0 loss, just because bigger opponent, better opponent in their grounds, versus at home you have to squeak out a 1-0 win where you probably shouldn't have gotten the win. There should be a penalty for Wolves outplayed them in certain stretches. So yeah, it's really been disappointing. I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just saying from a United fan standpoint, it's really been disappointing so far. But only 2 games.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to write them off.
There's a lot of time left.
I wasn't trying to write them off, and I also wasn't trying to discredit what Spurs did. I was just saying that.
No, you're right.
it's just that these big play. I mean, it's more so Mount that it's like I'm targeting, but I can't think of any other players. Have they signed anybody else apart from those
Mount,
three?
Hoyland, Onana.
You know, one player I think that's been.
I swear they did make other signings.
Well, talk about signings.
Like I'm talking about like
think
big
so.
name signings.
I don't think so.
I
mean, the only thing
look,
that I got
but
to say
someone else
about
can
the
talk.
only thing I got to say about the Tottenham United game is United missed a couple clear-cut chances in the first half, especially Fernandez's header.
Yeah.
He skied.
That's
Yeah,
So,
awful.
so while we can say that Tottenham played United off the park, they did in the second half. But just like Chelsea's game against West Ham, if United put away their chances in the first half, this might be a different game.
You're 100% right, but then isn't that kind of we've seen it in a lot of different teams and a lot of different players through the years where you miss a couple chances in this game. All right, next game will be better. They missed a couple chances the first game against Wolves too. If that trend continues to happen, there's going to be inevitably a loss of confidence.
It'll affect their confidence, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It's
so I don't know. I also think that like you're right. They missed 2 clear-cut chances, but I also think that I don't know. I also think that without Onana, that game is 4-0. And again, with Wolves, Wolves could have easily won that game if they could shoot for damn. And like you're right, like they should be able to take their chances. But so far, we've seen 2 games is they've had clear-cut chances and they can't finish.
And I mean that's why you pay 50 mil for a goalkeeper.
You're right, and not criticizing. I think Onana, that's really praise to Onana because if it wasn't for Onana, these games look a lot worse.
Yeah.
And but I do think that instead of signing a Hoyland, which I'm sure he will be good in the future, they should have gone with probably a more experienced striker. Like
they
it just
should have
seems
paid up for Osimhen.
Yeah,
or at least fucking play how they were playing in preseason. That was kind of working for them, where they played Sancho in the false 9 and Rashford on the left. Rashford's just not a 9.
Yeah, I think
I'm putting him in the 9. It's just not good.
No,
He's their best 9 that they have.
See, I disagree because I think that you
What
sacrifice.
about Martial?
Yeah, you sacrifice
a 9. Sacrifice a 9 and play him in his. You play your best player in his best position.
Yeah, because honestly, Rashford in a 9 and Rashford on the left are 2 different players. And I think Abdon's right. I think if you were to play Sancho in that false 9, almost like a cam, you unlock Rashford more. And that's probably a better system because Pep kind of did that when he was having De Bruyne up front, and he was playing basically as a false 9, playing in that cam position almost for that one season that they won the title. Like it would have been a better idea, I think, because I feel like you're right. You could argue that Rashford's their best 9. I also think you lose a lot if Rashford's your best 9.
Well, I just said his bet because, and I'm pretty sure I'm wrong because now that I think about it, but was he on the left or was he up top when he had like his like stellar season last season?
He was on the left.
Was he on the left? Okay, then never mind.
He's a left winger.
Yeah,
I know he's a left winger.
He's a left forward. Let's say it that way.
I know he's a left winger, and I know he sometimes goes up top because he has to be there sometimes, but for his goal contribution last season where he was getting like I think he almost got 20 goals this season or last season.
Something like that.
I just didn't know if he played up top or he was on the left. But if he's on the left, then never mind.
No, they had Veghorst there who kind of played.
That's right.
And Veghorst got a lot of criticism because he didn't score a lot, but he played he played the role that Ten Hag wanted from him really well, which is winning, flicking balls on, over the top, or winning aerial duels, like holding up the play, which is what they want Hoyland to do. But we'll see if Hoyland will be able to even fucking play much this season.
I just totally forgot about Wakehorse. So, but yeah, how long is he out till like December?
Hoyland? He has stress fractures, so he can't play more than like a game a week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Isn't he also injured too?
I think he's injured with something else right now, but during the physical or during the medical, they found stress fractures.
And that's not good for his long-term development because he's 19 either, He's 19, and also with a team going into the Champions League, going to be playing in 2 domestic cups and the Premier League, they need another striker. They need another striker that can play the Ten Hag role. Obviously, someone cheaper and probably more developed, kind of like they did with Weghorst. Maybe get them on loan or sign someone for 20, 25 mil. But they need someone else up there as well. Like Højlund.
Back injury.
Yeah. Oh, is that back injury? Yeah, because Højlund, I'm sure in the future will be good. He'll play the way Ten Hag wants to play. But that's for the future. You also need to focus on now. You know? And if United really want to be viewed as challengers, they need another striker.
Yeah. I just totally forgot about that whole thing with Højlund. So
Ten Hag said he had a small issue and he's not on the levels where our players are at in this moment. So we have to train him. Prognosis is difficult always to say. We are confident and we are positive. So that tells us nothing.
Oh, he's tired like Reece James.
That sounds like a manager covering up for a player who might be more injured than they think.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, yeah.
But
I think that's everything.
I don't have anything else.
Oh my god.
I don't have anything else other than fuck Man United, good win.
Tottenham sucks.
Fuck you.
well,
How many games
the
has Chelsea
fan,
won?
Speaking of the Chelsea fan, we can talk about another big game that happened, but for the wrong reason. Chelsea losing 3-1 to West Ham.
Oh, you got the depression filter on. Let's go.
I'm in hell.
So, who wants to lead that? Is it you, Abdon, or Jose?
Whoa, hey, wait.
What?
Brandon hasn't spoken a single word.
Do you think he disappeared? I think
He might have fallen asleep.
Nah,
He
he
gone.
He gone. That's fine.
He got
Okay, never
If he
mind.
if he
I
get
tried.
back, no, he's back. Oh.
There he is.
Hey, hello.
Brandon, I was teeing you up because I was like, you haven't had anything to say, so I wanted you to speak.
I thought you died.
Unless you have nothing to say, then we can just move on to Chelsea.
Well, I was watching the Spurs. So I watched the Spurs game a little bit. Like I watched the last.
Oh,
So you are watching games.
you
No, I didn't watch the whole game. I watched
your
like 5
rival, and you didn't watch anything from your team.
I did watch some of Arsenal. I was in the gym when I was watching it, though.
But
What
you've
are
been
these-
fucking capping the whole
Yeah,
time.
what are these lies?
I didn't say. I said I haven't watched the whole game. I haven't. I've watched like
That
5
you
No,
minutes.
haven't
no.
watched Shit.
Yeah, you said you haven't been able to watch a minute of anything.
You said I haven't been watching any of the. That is what you said.
You can't change it now. You can't defend yourself. Save face. This man said other things. He's a liar. We love him though.
Just say what you want to say.
Spurs looked. They looked good against United. I mean, everybody knows that. We just talked about it. I actually thought the end of the second half is when they started dominating the game, because from what I saw, and obviously they dominated the second half, but towards the end of the second half, I was like, dude, they got United on ropes. Like it was scary. I was hoping for a draw personally. But obviously I love to see United lose too. So, I mean, there's not much more to say than that. Bruno's miss was embarrassing.
Overrated as fuck, in my opinion.
Just one more thing. It also to me kind of looked like the first goal. Right after the first goal, Man United gave up. Like I never thought that they never. I think right after that goal, they never thought that they had a chance. And I think their mentality is a big problem. Because if you go 1 goal down, like, you can't, like, you're, like, that's not, like, don't give up after 1. Like, it's easier said than done, but, like, if you're a team like Man United, have that body language, and you can't, like, quit after 1 goal. And then, even, I mean, after the second goal, they were just a dead horse at that point. And we were just, like, beating on a dead horse for the last 20 minutes of the game. But, or whenever we scored. Maybe it wasn't that long. But, yeah, just the last thing I wanted to say was it did kind of look like United's mentality, like, really bad. and they like quit right after we scored that first goal. I saw no fight. Like they may have had a, but no like real fight from them after they went 1-0 down. And if you have aspirations to win the league, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, your Ten Hag's probably gonna be the first Big Six manager to get fired out of the bunch.
Probably.
You right. What a flop that would be, dude.
And then it's back to square one, dude.
It's almost been 2 years of him.
I know, and then it's back to square one, and everything that he's put into that club in terms of like philosophy just has to get scrapped.
Well,
Because then another new.
Go
I
ahead,
think
Ty.
they'll give him at least next season.
No,
We also have to see how bad he does. Like if it's like what's his name?
like this.
Like
Harry
Ole.
Potter. Oh,
See,
Okay,
Ole?
well, yeah. If it's that bad, then yeah, he's got to go. But like Ole, if it's
Ollie?
like that bad, to where like he
Ollie.
just
no, it's
Is
Ole
it
Gunnar
Ollie?
Solskjaer. No, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Is it Ole or
Is it
Ollie?
Ole?
I thought it was
It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Ole. Okay, I didn't know.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
if it's
I
like
could be
him.
wrong. I don't speak whatever language that name comes from. I don't remember Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Denmark? Danish?
Denmark,
he's
yeah,
Danish.
Danish.
Yeah, he's Danish.
Could be. But what I was gonna say is,
Are you-
yeah, I think he's googling.
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna agree with you, but I was also gonna say that what's up?
Norwegian.
Norwegian. Oh, he's
Oh,
Norwegian.
that's right, Norwegian.
Yeah, it's Ole for sure.
Yeah, it probably is.
But what I was gonna say is he also had a really rough start last season. This could just be a trend of his United teams. They're gonna start really poorly in the first couple games, and they're gonna kick on. You know,
So it's,
It could be that.
So it literally it's all vacant on Rashford's form. Is
basically.
what you're telling me.
Or
Oh, 100%. 100%.
or he shouldn't be because I mean, first season, like, it was more understandable because it was the beginning of the season and, like, everyone's still trying to figure out his system as well as Ronaldo being there. Because
Yeah, the
Ronaldo
thing
being
is-
there was a huge problem. But now that he got rid of the problem, he's now implemented his system, and then his system worked.
And what's
and-
the system?
He did well enough to where he was able to get his point across and how he wanted the team to shape up and everything. And now since this summer, because he actually had like a full transfer window, he may have not gotten all the players that he wanted, but he got 3, I guess, big players. And I feel like there's just no real excuse because now they've spent money and he's invested.
Are they Champions League?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got them into Champions League.
He won the League Cup.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I think they'll
It's
get like
inexcusable.
without like it would take a colossal failure for them to sack him this season. Like I think they're gonna give him all season.
If he
potentially
doesn't
all
make
of
Europe,
next
he's
season.
gone. If he doesn't make Europe, he has to be gone.
Europe at all,
Yeah.
or
See-
just like Champions League. Because I think you're right.
If he
If they
makes-
don't
if he
even
makes
get
Europa,
if they don't even get Conference League, then we might be.
I think Conference League, and
we
you
might
start
be-
questioning it.
we might if they get Conference League or then maybe questioning. If they don't even get, I think they'll consider it. But like if they get Europa League, like I don't like you can't justify sacking get Europa League, unless they like flame out of the Champions League and like squeak their way. But
See-
I think they'll give him 2 more seasons if he continues on this trend.
See, I think that the only thing that's going to hinder him is he said it. He wants to be the best transitional team in the world, which is great because I think that'll be great in the Champions League when other teams are attacking you. But in the Premier League, when the majority of the teams are going to sit back against you, they don't have any other options. You know, like Rashford pace doesn't work at breaking the defensive line when they're sitting back. Antony is a good player for that, but then you don't have any striker that could, challenge in the air that's dominant. You are limited to what you have, and you built your squad to be this transitional team. When in reality, if you have to start dictating play and like carving through a defense, I don't think they have the players for that.
Anthony is a good player.
And
is
we're not going to go
a sentence I
by right
expected
past
to hear on this
Anthony's a good
podcast.
player. Comment.
No. Anthony, no. Anthony's a good player. Wait!
No, it's
We're
not.
breathe for a second.
Okay, go.
Anthony's a good player in the sense that if you have to dominate the ball, he can create chances. He can hold the play up. He's a very tricky player. He's better on the transition. I'm not arguing there. But of all the players that benefit from having the ball at their feet, he's one of the better ones for against teams that you're gonna have to, have a majority of possession against. That you're not gonna be able to just counterattack. But it would complement him better if he had a tall, kind of aerially dominant striker to put crosses through or two. So in that sense, he's a good player. I don't think he's shown what he's capable of. I don't think he is the player that everyone thinks he was when he was at Ajax. But I think if you look at it tactically, he's the best option you have against those smaller teams. Because like Rashford's biggest asset is his pace. You aren't going to use that pace to its full extent, when teams are sitting behind or setting up like a 4-4-2, sitting back defending that goal. You're not going to utilize Rashford in the best way. Mason Mount is a better transitional player. You're not going to set him up the best way. Eriksen's a great player also in the sense that he can break defenses, but I feel like Eriksen doesn't really have a place in the system. So that's why I mean, I think that he's let himself down by trying to build this transitional team when in reality, a lot of these teams are going to attack you. I think he'll do good in Europe, but I think when he goes up against other Premier League teams, when you saw against Wolves and stuff, and even a little bit at Tottenham when they were very defensively sound, they couldn't carve through that defense. They didn't have anyone that could create something. So I think that's where they're going to struggle the most.
I mean, the two things I can tell you is 3 things.
Ooh, 3 things.
I'm not going to forgive the Anthony comment.
That's fine. I didn't mean he's a good player. I mean he's a good player in the sense of the system.
Okay. Eriksen has no legs for the Premier League.
Right.
That's not that he doesn't have a place. He just can't. He can't. Just can't.
All right, fair.
And then Mount is not a transitional player. This man did not play a single season of transition football at Chelsea Football Club.
What do you mean?
We played possession heavy every season he was here.
Except when Tuchel took over, and then we saw against games like against Porto, against Real Madrid, we were breaking on the counter, that he was one of those players that could run through the channel, with scoring goals, just creating opportunities. He is better as a transitional player than he is as a playmaker.
I mean, we were playing phases of transition whenever they had momentum, yes.
Yeah, and he excelled in those.
We were still playing possession heavy at any given moment.
See, I disagree because I think that himself, you're right. Chelsea as a team, we played possession football. Mason Mount excelled when we were on the transition. He is a transitional player. He's not an Eriksen. He's not someone that can be a playmaker and stuff. I'm not saying that he can't play in the possession-based style. I just mean that you get the best out of Mason Mount. Same with Rashford when you're on the transition, when you can utilize pace and running, to disrupt the defense. I mean, we saw against the last 2 games that Manchester United played, Mason Mount's virtually been invisible.
No, I mean, maybe.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Speaking of Chelsea, though, like I said,
Finally,
let's go into the 3-1 loss against West Ham.
It got Brandon's second time.
I'm gonna try to edit Marvin's room into this right as he turns the red light on.
Just don't get us copy striked.
Yeah.
So
true.
So 3-1.
Does it hurt
to
your
West
eyes?
Ham.
Does it hurt your eyes?
Huh?
Nah.
No, you can
you're
leave
good.
it.
You're good, bro. You're good.
Just making sure.
I'm done. What did you think of the game? Because for me, the first thing I think we went wrong was the tactical formation.
I am over the 3 at the back. I don't understand what we're doing with 3 at the back with this defense. I don't understand why we played 4-2-3-1 all preseason and now we abandoned it. I don't know. I'm really scared that Silva's is hitting his Ivanovic phase where he's losing his legs.
Yeah.
He's not been stellar. Colwell got fucking turned into a pretzel by fucking Antonio. Not good. Disasi I mean, he's coming into new league, so I can understand him being a little dubious with everything in general of the pace of the league. But I mean, with 3 at the back, you can't fucking forgive defensive mistakes like he was giving up. Sanchez is inconclusive just because of the fact that the defense has been so poor the last 2 games. I can't make a decision yet on how good he has been or not.
Right.
I think this game had writing of tactical mismanagement by Poch.
No, I agree 100%. I agree with you in the sense that, I think we should go 4 in the back because I think Colwell's getting exposed as that left back, that makeshift left back. I think him and DeSassi, and we saw it against Liverpool, they're too wide at points.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we play the 4 in the back, those two could be closer together, it would be stronger. And I agree because I think that, our tactics were crossing just for crossing sakes at points, and I didn't agree with it. I feel like we should have stretched the field more, and I think that we are also having Conor Gallagher play alongside
Enzo.
Thank you, is poor. I think now that Nkunku and Chukwuemeka are gone, he's going to have to be in that cam position. I think he'll be way better in that cam position. And
See, here's the thing with that is, first of all, I don't think we're playing a straight 3 at the back.
we're not.
I think we're playing a 4 at the back with Colwell as a left back and
Right.
Chilwell as a left wing. Chilwell's just coming back deeper to more of a left mid role in support of Colwell. I don't like it.
No,
Just
you're
fucking play 4 at the back. Play Chilwell as a fucking left back. I understand that maybe he did it just because it worked against Liverpool, and we still don't have Lavia and we still don't have Caicedo fully fit. First of all, Caicedo throwing him in there was asinine. This man, I fucking looked it up. This man played 25 minutes of preseason.
He didn't have a preseason. You're right, and he looked
25 minutes. He looked horrible.
Okay, he was not horrible.
No, he was horrible,
Obviously,
Eddie.
He was horrible.
Eddie,
conceding the penalty was bad, but I don't think
Couldn't string a pass.
he
Eddie,
wasn't
the
the
Couldn't
best
string a
performance
pass. He
ever.
looked lost. He looked just not assured of himself yet. And
Yeah.
why? Because he had no preseason. He had a fucking week-long break in London when he was waiting for the transfer to go through. He had that whole transfer saga. Like, he did not need to be playing in this game. He should have put in fucking Ugo Chukwu, who's not good as Lavia or Caicedo.
but he's fit.
He's fit and he's been playing with us. He's been practicing with the team.
Yeah, because I agree with him. Because I know everyone's memeing Caicedo right now, but there were lots of points where if you watched that game, you would just sit there and go, "Why are you right there?" Like, the positioning was really poor. Obviously he gave away that poor pass that led to that shot that Sanchez saved, and he committed the foul that led to a penalty. But even aside from those 2 points, just watching his positional play, not being able to pass, not understanding the tactical setup of the team, it was bad. There is no 2 ways about it. Do I think he'll come good? He'll get better, that's for sure. You can't do much worse than that. But it was not a good start.
And that's just the point of it. And I'm gonna be honest, I think for now we abandon the cam, the 10. Let's go 4-3-3. Let's give Mudryk a run of games. I know he wasn't great. Just hear me out. This man has started 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give him a run of games, 3-4 games, as the left wing, the out and out left wing. Fucking Sterling looked great on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Put Mudryk on the left. Let him have a couple games. Let him build some confidence and form. If after 5-6 games the man just cannot shoot a fucking ball, he can't pass, he can't do shit, so be it. Drop him. But he hasn't been given the opportunity at the left wing to be a consistent starter. And
Where's
maybe
he
he hasn't
playing?
earned the right. He's not fucking playing.
Yeah, he played.
He played, but he took over the Chukwuemeka role in the 10. I don't want him taking the 10.
Yeah.
And also he played him once. He brought him on once West Ham already had the lead. Or no, we were tied. But West Ham was playing a little more defensive. This man is a pace merchant. He needs room. Fucking West Ham, what the fuck did they do? They closed up shop. Once they went 2 up, they closed up shop. They were not moving.
100%. And like that's what I mean. Like, because if you looked at the game, the way we were so narrow at the edge of the box, sending in crosses, it's like we need someone to stretch the field, and he would have been perfect for that. But instead, we just persisted with this tactic of we're just gonna cross when West Ham are known for having very tall, very strong defensive players. They are set up very well. Like, they're going to clear everything we throw at them. That's where I just sit there and go, we should have figured out a different way to play against them, because I don't think we created much. There were positives. I think the Jackson Enzo kind of combination will come into play. I also think that if, like you had said, if we had Mudryk on the left, one thing we saw in preseason was Mudryk and Jackson's link-up play. They were phenomenal linking up with one another. And I think in that kind of game, we needed something like that because we weren't getting anything from crosses. So,
and the thing as well is if you see Jackson has great hold to play and can bring people in,
mm-hmm.
and no one's taking his space, no one's sliding into the center. That's where Nkunku would have come in.
Mm-hmm.
And Nkunku was supposed to be the one that comes into that center field area, that center forward area, that 9 striker area. When Jackson comes in and receives the ball from the midfield, they were supposed to play off each other. And I understand he's injured, so it kind of it makes Poch have to restart his whole tactical plan. But you see the pieces are there for when Nkunku does come back for something to happen. And we are looking at a 10 in the transfer market, so we'll see what happens. But I mean, the pieces are there, and I'm not gonna get fucking pissed off to the point where I want Poch out. There's no way.
No.
No one's fucking fit yet.
No, we also know that this team is still, it has a long way to go.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that we signed up for Poch. We all have to understand that we signed up for a long-term kind of deal.
Well, not only that, we're fucking buying 19-year-olds. I mean,
exactly. We're signing up for a long process where he can mold these players into great players, but we need to give him the time to do that.
Only thing is,
but is Chelsea willing to do that though?
I think so.
For Poch, yes. I think.
I don't know.
The thing is Poch can talk in a way that he buys himself time.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with Potter is we weren't playing great football, but the man all he was saying was they gave it their all. When you could see that they weren't really giving it their all. The team was checked out last season. Poch is given the persona that people have to earn their turn and also fight for the badge.
Yeah.
Which I understand there's players that left that maybe they were the plague, and now that they're gone, it's a fresh start with the team. But I'm not giving up on Poch fucking year one when we did. And people like to say that we paid almost £1 billion on the team. We sold 300 fucking million pounds of it already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's pump the brakes on. It's $1 billion team. It's not.
And
it's a bunch of fucking kids that have been loaned out. So
yeah,
chill the fuck out. Poch will have time.
No, I agree.
Next season, but he's getting time this season.
And
no, I agree. He should be given time, but I'm just saying with Chelsea's track record of them sacking managers, it doesn't help. And we thought they would be different whenever Abramovich got the boot out of England, but it's not any different with Todd Bowley, because he gave last season. It was 4 different managers that you guys went through.
2 permanent managers and 2 interim.
Yeah, but I also think that we have to put in the context what happened with Tuchel. A big reason of I guess you would say the problems between him, the bad vibes between him and Bowley wanted to be a big part of those transfers, those transfer negotiations, the planning, and he didn't want to be. So that was a big reason he left.
And we also didn't have a director of football at that point.
Now we have Christopher Vivel, who was...
he left.
He left?
We have Paul Winstanley and
Paul Winstanley, we do have them. But we do have more of an actual idea of what the club wants to be, and we have people that are there to do those transfers. And I think when you look at the more transfers we've done, they are more sensible transfers in
They've
the
been
sense.
smarter.
Yeah, because when Todd Bowley was doing it, that's when we were signing Obama Yang. That's when we were signing all these kind of players that just
So the Bali Kukureya,
Sterling. I know he was great
Sterling,
yesterday,
like-
but Sterling's been bad. It's we have someone now that can do that role and do it well. And so, I think that when you look at that, when Todd Bowley was there, when we eventually got Graham Potter was already in a really bad situation with all these players coming through. We didn't give him the time to really
but he didn't
stamp his
deserve the
authority.
time.
Yeah, but I also think that, as much as I agree with you, I also think before the World Cup, his run of games wasn't that poor. He just had it was a whole mess at Chelsea. So I think for everyone to just be like, Todd Bowley was a problem, that's one way to look at it. And we'll never really know if he had the potential to be that guy or not because the whole club was in a disarray. And then we got Frank Lampard in, and Frank Lampard did poorly. And I think that's when people were like, oh, it's not just... I mean, Frank Lampard already has his track record of not being a great manager, so whatever your opinions are of that. But he couldn't get a tune out of these guys either. So now we have Poch. Poch looks like he's being able to get a tune out of these players, but he made a lot of bold decisions in preseason with leaving players at home. Only taking certain players with him for the USA tour, kind of creating a group of individuals and knowing that these other players that want to leave can go. And we've almost got all of them out, but now we are uneven in certain areas. So I think there's a lot of room to grow it, and this is one of those things where when you look at it, I think Poch will be the guy that they give time to because he's also shown that he can get them playing. One bad result isn't going to be seen by the Chelsea board as this is a sackable offense. I just think that everyone knows this is we are going through growing pains, and this is a big process. And Reece James got injured, and Kuku got injured, Chouameki got injured. It is going to be...
Who's next?
Yeah. Who's next? Honestly, yeah. And with the injury list coming through,
next?
we have a history of that. So, but we at least have better backup this time. We're better prepared, I think, in certain areas, to do that. I think letting Lewis Hall leave really was a mistake.
He's a Newcastle fan, though. His family's a Newcastle fan, so
it's good for him.
Yeah,
it's good for him, but it's bad for us because I'm sure and I don't know how your opinions of him, but I think he's a great left back option. He's phenomenal.
But he wants to play in the midfield.
I know.
We don't have a left mid, so he was never going to be happy. And I'd rather have a Ian Maatsen that is willing to play anywhere that the fucking manager needs him, instead of Lewis Hall, who is a great left back in a couple of games, but doesn't want to play there.
That's
fair.
I mean? That's fair.
It's
well, Ian Maatsen also is better in the left back position. I know he played. Didn't he play higher up for Burnley last season?
played every fucking position.
Yeah,
I think he played left back in Burnley, but he played in preseason he played left wing, right wing, 10. So that's another one that he could slot on the 10 with Chukwuemeka injured.
Yeah, but I wasn't impressed with what I've seen from him up front. I think he'd be better in the left back position. Oh,
Maybe he'll fucking drop Chilwell, and I don't know. The thing I can tell you is, can I fucking be surprised that we lost to West Ham? No, we've lost before Sunday was 2. We've only won 2 out of 8 at Olympic Stadium, so it's a bogey stadium for us.
Yeah,
it's a bogey ground.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I just want to say, the more this season goes on, Abdon, the Nicholas Jackson allegations, I'm gonna pile it on. I just want you to know that.
As well as the second best midfield in the world.
Talking about the next Harry Kane.
Wait.
The Nicholas Jackson allegations are gonna be.
You did. I forgot about your fucking text during that game. The midfield hasn't even played together.
I know. I'm just saying.
They haven't even played. They haven't even played.
I'm just
saying.
You
can't fucking judge my
saying.
statement. You can't judge my statement when they haven't even fucking. Lavia was at home. He was at Cabo.
Right.
Can I say those
I'm just saying.
Chill the fuck out.
I'm also telling you to chill because They haven't even played either, and you're already making that statement.
Second best midfielder in the world.
Well, what we do know
We'll
is
see. We'll see when it comes.
what we do know is Nkunku is one of the best cams in Europe. We do
Right.
know that Enzo Fernandez is one of the highly touted midfielders in Europe, and we also know that Caicedo was one of the most wanted center defensive midfielders in Europe.
Right.
So, like, when all three of them get chemistry, I'm sure it will be good. I'm kind of with Abdon. What Ed was going to talk about, Eddie, was Nicholas Jackson. You can have whatever opinion you want. He has shown, at least physically, he's strong. He can hold play up. He can, run off or break the defensive line. He can, do a lot of what you want from a striker, correct? The only thing is he just hasn't scored yet. And he's had two really big opportunities where he could have scored. And I think the minute he scores, it's gonna that's when the floodgates open.
The floodgates are opening.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is you have to put into context. Who did he play with against in the first game? Fucking Konate and Virgil van Dijk, two of the hardest center backs to score against as a 9. Yes or no?
I agree with that.
Sure. Yeah.
No, motherfucker. Yes or no?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Then he played against West Ham, who fucking closed up shop. I'm not saying he didn't have chances. He missed a chance, an easy chance against West Ham. But for 45 minutes on, that team closed it down. They were not fucking moving. And all we had was Cross and Inshallah. So
basically,
I am not going to fucking take that against Nicholas Jackson when we had no game plan. Nothing.
I'm just saying, if he was the next Harry Kane, he would have found a way to score. Because Harry Kane has scored against players that close up shop.
And did Harry Kane score against fucking RB Leipzig?
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
well, you're bringing up Harry Kane. The same situation.
Hey, man, I don't really give a shit about Harry Kane anymore, but...
Well, why are you bringing them up then?
Don't
Why are you bringing them up
fucking
then?
say Harry Kane can score against anyone.
Because I'm saying
If not,
when
would've
he
had
was
more
on
than-
Spurs, if you're saying he's the next Harry Kane for the Premier League, I'm going to bring up Harry Kane's Premier League abilities. And in the Premier League, he scored plenty of goals against teams that were bunkering
First of
down.
all, whoever said he was
fair,
Harry
to
Kane?
be
We all
fair.
say he was
Abdon
Didier
did.
Drogba.
Abdon did. Abdon has... I can pull up the receipts.
Abdon,
of
why would you
Abdon
say
calling
that?
Nicholas Jackson the next Harry Kane. I have
I
the
thought he
receipts
said
on my phone.
He's the Holland regen.
He's a
Stop.
he's the Drogba region.
You're hurting yourself, Abdon. You're not helping yourself right now.
Nope.
To be fair to Abdon, this
Ooh.
is his first season in the Prem, and I mean it's not like we're comparing a youngster to prime Harry Kane. You got to let him grow first. He's gonna have these this probably won't be like an amazing season for him. Maybe it will be. You never know. But I mean, once he gets a couple seasons under his belt, that's the only way we'll be able to know how good he really is.
That's all fine and great. And if I wasn't Abdon's friend, I would just let that be that. But since I'm his friend, I'm legally obligated to give him shit
Legally.
when Nicholas Jackson is not the next Harry Kane right now.
You're not legally obligated
So-
to give me shit.
I mean,
I don't agree.
he's like Harry Kane when he was on Leicester.
Fair enough.
Except Harry Kane was 22 when he kind of came into the Premier League and started doing this thing. But Jackson,
And so is Jackson. He's 22.
he's 22, and also Harry
And he
Kane
came
already
from
had
Villarreal.
more. Yeah, he had more English, experience, so it's fine. Jackson will come good. Jackson.
All right,
is
we'll
a
just
good
have to
player.
see. We'll
We
just
will
have to
see.
see. We'll
We'll
just have to
see.
see.
Have
We'll
you
have to
seen
see.
him? Have you seen the motherfucker play?
You know what? I'll tell you.
Yes,
this right
I
now.
watched him miss chances against
I'm
West
not talking
Ham,
about
and then
I'm not
completely
talking about
disappear.
the missed chances. I'm talking about the way his link-up play has brought in everyone around him. Yes or no?
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I did. But did they win?
Eddie, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If I would rather Nicholas
I
Jackson
will.
only ever score 15 goals, and that means he wins if he wins a title, I would much rather have a Drogba 2.0 than a Harry Kane, because at least that means he would win something.
That's fine.
I can't wait.
Well, if he
Tottenham
wins something
lose.
this season, then it's a completely different story.
He might.
Yeah, but it's in a different league, so it doesn't. Nobody cares.
I can't wait until Tottenham lose.
Yeah, and he needs
To
his
who?
bubble popped a little
Lose
bit.
to who?
Lose to
Lose to who?
Lose to Chelsea.
Imagine Spurs go undefeated.
Lose to Chelsea.
We're not gonna lose. We're not gonna lose to Chelsea.
Oh, well,
Actually,
you'll
we
lose to
we
No,
we
we're-
will
you
lose
are going to
No,
lose to Chelsea.
no. Chelsea feels like a team we'll lose to this.
When we live stream that game, it's gonna be toxic
See,
as fuck.
Chelsea has like pacey, like Mudryk will probably cook our back line and trans. Like we'll probably lose to Chelsea, but we're not gonna lose to Bournemouth this
And you're in
weekend. I'm not worried
an
about it.
easy
Actually,
fucking time for
Tyler
us.
Adams might drop a masterclass on us this weekend, so we might lose to Bournemouth.
If you lose to Bournemouth, bro, there's no saving you.
I don't even think with Adams. I don't think Adams is that. I'm not gonna lie. I think Basuma will cook Adams.
Oh no.
I think so too. I was just. It was the bit I had to bring up.
I know you did.
You're cooking us. You're cooking us.
Yeah, let me cook a little bit.
No, you're gonna
Daniel,
cook us. You're gonna cook us when we play you. We
Nah.
have Chelsea, Arsenal 2 weeks before. We have fucking Man City the week after.
We beat
Newcastle
them.
the week after. Brentford the week before fucking Tottenham. We're getting good.
Now listen, if history teaches me anything, we're gonna beat Arsenal. We're gonna somehow tie or beat Man City. We are going to, beat
Lose to
Brentford.
Spurs.
We're gonna beat Brentford, and then we'll fucking lose to Spurs. But you know what? We beat Arsenal and Manchester City. I'm fine with it. But I also know that.
Oh god, it's at fucking
Look at-
Spurs Stadium too.
No. Then we have to win. We have to shut them up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I don't care.
We should live stream. What day of the week is that game?
Saturday.
All right, I'll request the day
At
off.
9 a.m. At 9 a.m.
I'll be here at 9
Yeah,
a.m.
Donuts and coffee, baby. We'll live stream the game.
What day is
I'm
that? I can request it.
November 4th.
Saturday, November 4th. I'm requesting the day off.
Same, dude. Same.
I'll be there. We're live streaming it. It's gonna get toxic as fuck.
My place, Donuts and coffee. Let's live stream it.
What day is it?
Saturday, November 4th.
Wait, Abdon,
Oh.
do you live in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
He lives in Edmond.
Oh, do you really? I didn't know. I was just. It was a question. It was just a question.
Yeah, he lives in
I didn't
Edmond.
know. I didn't know.
Hey, he lives in Edmond.
Hey, guess what?
I'll
I
have
ain't
my
asked you.
new,
Fuck, no,
I'll have my Youngman Son kit on. I'll be ready, dude.
We're just gonna be there. Me and Abdon are gonna be there in suits because
Can't
we
wait till
just know
fucking
excellence.
Jackson
Oh my
stores a
God.
fucking brace on your ass.
Nah, bro, hat trick.
Hat trick,
Don't
hat
sell.
trick, Hat trick on you. 3 hat tricks. Nice.
Oh,
That's
not
gonna
going.
be. That's gonna be.
Bro, the light got more red when he said that. He said 3 hat tricks. The light got so much redder.
The toxicity in that. It's gonna be off the chart.
Dude, it's so fucking red in my room. Goddamn.
I like it. I respect it. It's nice. I feel the vibes.
Don't worry. When we win, it'll be a hot blue.
It'll be a hot blue. Ooh, a royal blue. Ooh,
Royal blue.
it's gonna be a good time. Gonna be a good time.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah. Anything else anyone else wants to add?
I did, but I can't remember, so we can move on.
Fucking, I can't believe we gave up 2 corners in the first 6-7 minutes to James Ward-Prowse.
Actually, yeah, James Ward-Prowse played a phenomenal game.
He was,
and-
he was great.
and-
James
Why do you
Ward-Prowse
give
is
him the opportunity with 2 fucking corners in the first 7 minutes?
Hey man, I don't
The
disagree.
one thing you do not do to West Ham with James Ward-Prowse is give them a set piece or a fucking corner
Yeah,
or you score first.
him and Edson Alvarez are gonna. I think they're gonna cook for them. I
Yeah.
think they're gonna do wonders for West Ham.
now that you bring him up, I was gonna
Don't
say.
start there.
No,
You go.
I was gonna tell you one thing. I said last week. I said either we're gonna win or Alvarez is gonna make us regret not buying him. And Alvarez was definitely in a much better headspace than Caicedo was.
Him and
Don't even
him and
joke.
Alvarez. That's big for West. I think they're gonna.
The
I had them
team
low.
was in a
I think they're
better
gonna be
headspace.
Bro,
higher up than I predicted.
Alvarez made like 3 different tackles, made 2 blocks. Like he was
And
good.
Alvarez had a preseason as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Oh, I put them 12th.
Whose fault
Actually,
is
never
that
mind.
though?
That
Whose
sounds
fault
about
is
right.
that though?
No, nobody's. I didn't want Caicedo on that fucking field.
Listen,
At 2-1 down.
listen.
Especially pulling out the 2 fullbacks, 2 wingbacks for no damn reason.
I've done.
Why?
I'm not arguing with you. All I'm saying is I made a statement last week. That's all I'm saying. I made a statement last
1
week.
week. 1 week.
That's fine. We'll see what happens. I still think I said it in our group message. I think Caicedo will come good. But
Become better than Edson Alvarez.
I wasn't convinced. That's
You
all I'm
better
saying.
be.
Listen,
With that
listen.
115 million,
I went on record. And said that, and this is probably the first time ever I think in my lifetime I've seen it where I told you I didn't want Caicedo for the money we were getting, and I think there were two better options in Edson Alvarez or in
Tyler Adams.
Yeah, Tyler Adams. And for the first time in my life, I think for a top 6 club or a top club anywhere in Europe, that two midfielders from CONCACAF are better options than someone else. I'm sorry. I stick by that. I don't think Caicedo's worth the money.
I agree.
Because you also said that's what we had to pay. Well, they got Edson Alvarez with Champions League experience, and title winning experience for 40, and they got Bournemouth got Tyler Adams for 26. He does have Champions League experience.
No,
he hasn't won it.
In my head, I thought you meant Premier League. I was like, what?
No, not Champions League experience. but he's.
I was like, what the fuck?
No, he's won titles and stuff, and I'm not saying that their ceilings are higher than Caicedo. I don't know how high Caicedo's ceiling is. I'm just saying right now for the price. I said it last week, and I still stand by it. But Caicedo's a Chelsea boy, so I gotta stick with my Chelsea boy. I gotta back him.
The thing is what you're talking about is two players that their fucking ceiling is here, when Caicedo's ceiling is all the way up here.
We'll see, because also Caicedo's
whether he reaches it is something else.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Caicedo has a lower ceiling than them two. I'm not saying they have a higher ceiling than them two. All I'm saying is for the price, for what you were getting, I don't think Caicedo was that much more worth. Adams.
Yeah, but look at what Liverpool are going to have to pay for a fucking center mid because of the inflation of the whole market.
Yeah, but you're saying inflation.
You're also
you're saying inflation,
go
but
ahead, go ahead.
well, yeah, sorry. You're also saying inflation, but
the girls
West Ham and Bournemouth also just proved that that's not the case. It's a case for Chelsea, but everyone knows we have money. So everyone knows Liverpool has money. So of course they're gonna up the pay, up how much they want.
The difference is, didn't Edson Alvarez have a release clause in his contract?
I don't think so. No, he didn't have a.
Tyler Adams did.
Tyler Adams did. Edson Alvarez didn't, because if he had a release clause, he would have been at Chelsea last season, because they wouldn't move up the 60 million budget or up the 60 million mark. Where if Chelsea had just paid, the whatever it was, I don't think he had a
release clause.
Because Chelsea would have hit that.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Eddie, yes, please.
I want to say this, and then Daniel move us along.
Oh no,
because we could do this all. We could do this all night. Okay, we're talking about Caicedo like he's 18. He's 21, about to be 22. Tyler Adams and Edson Alvarez are 24, 25.
Yeah.
So there's only a 3-year age difference between. It's not like Caicedo is this 18-year-old, 19-year-old with this huge ceiling. He's already reaching that point where it's like it's time to see that jump.
We saw the level last year with Brighton. I'm just saying season and a half, and I'm just saying that the man had no preseason to even get fucking match fit. The man should not have been on the pitch. I don't want the man on the pitch against Luton. I think we can beat Luton without Lavia and Caicedo. I don't want them on the pitch.
Yeah.
I want them to fucking get match fit.
I wish I could see his face, dude. My phone's glitching.
Oh.
I'm just saying, let's not talk about Caicedo like he's this 18-year-old with this huge ceiling. He's 21 going on 22. Tyler Adams and Edson a couple years older than him. He's got to make that jump.
To develop, though.
Yeah,
he's got to make that jump. And if he doesn't make that jump,
if he's still at the same level as them, if not a little bit better, because he was last year with fucking Brighton, let's be honest here, then yes, I expect Caicedo to be a lot better. And I'm not talking about him as a 19-year-old. I'm still talking about a 21, 22-year-old. Let's pump the brakes. Let's let the man fucking have more than 25
No, you're
minutes.
right. You're right. You're right.
Wait.
The jury's still out on him.
Like I said, I believe that he will come good. I believe he'll be good. All I was saying last week, and I'm saying right now, is that for the price we paid, I don't think he justified that price. Whether we agree on that or not, it's a different story. I'm just telling you, I don't think he justified that price. Will he be good? Yeah, I think he'll be really good. I think that he's shown last season that he's a good tackler, and you're right, he needs to get match fit, and he needs to be able to get his form, play games, get consistency going with Chelsea, and I think he will do that. What I'm also saying is Chelsea have a bad track record with Brighton signings.
It's just two so far, right?
It's been
Wait,
one Brighton.
Wait, we have Cucurella. You're right. That's
Oh,
one.
no, there's three.
We have one. Now we have Roberto Sanchez, who we don't have really a backup for.
I'm not even taking into account Sanchez.
I know, but I'm telling you also right now, he doesn't convince me so far.
He's not convinced. No.
I know. He hasn't also had that much to do. He just needs one game, and I think he'll come good. And you're right, that could happen. But, that's all I'm saying is we've also seen that, some players... Go ahead.
But let's look at Cucurella. Who was in for Cucurella before we got him?
Manchester City.
Pep's Man City.
Yeah.
So there's some quality there that Pep saw that he liked about Cucurella. The only reason why they pulled out was because of the money.
Right. But
Liverpool bid 110 million. Klopp's Liverpool, the great Klopp, bid 110 million on fucking Caicedo. Mm-hmm. So there's also they see fucking talent there.
Right. Well,
we got Lavia, who fucking Klopp fucking loves. He sees the talent. So we're not buying bums. We're buying fucking people that the top of the top wants.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that,
no one was in for Rice, Brandon, so shut the fuck up. It was you and fucking helping you out.
What I was gonna say is you're right. Like, these big teams did want him. But one thing, like Lavia, I think is a good purchase because Klopp and Poch kind of play a similar, like, high-intensity pressing game. That's one thing we do have similarities to. Cucurella, I could understand why Manchester City want him because Brighton and Manchester City have a similar system. I think these are players that thrive in certain systems, And as the modern game develops, we notice that systems are becoming much more important. You can't just sign one player and he transform your season anymore. That doesn't work anymore because the systems are so specific now. So, I mean, like I said, I think Caicedo will be good. I think Lavia is a great purchase. I like that we got both of them. It's going to really decide what's... I won't lie. I went back on my... You convinced me last week to get third, and then that West Ham game convinced me again why I thought we would get around 7 or 6 because there's still a long way to go. And the season is still going, and but there is still a long way to go.
But the difference that you're not remembering and why I convinced you, and I already changed mine. I went from 3rd to 5th.
Okay, that's fair.
Whatever, Champions League. But the difference is that what you're not remembering is, and the only reason why I did is because we lost 2 of our only 2 10s. Mm-hmm. So it might change to see who we fucking buy before the transfer market ends. But you're misremembering that we have a whole week between games during the season, whereas all your top teams have a midweek game between games. I'm not saying we're going to win the league because of like 16-17 because we don't have a midweek game. I'm just saying we have more time to physically prepare and take care of these broken ass bodies we have here with us.
Right, and I don't disagree with you there, but I mean, shut up.
What'd you say?
He said 1-0 Luton.
I said 1-0 Luton.
But I also think that one thing I said last week, and it's coming kind of to fruition, is, one thing that we have a bad record for is losing our best players to injuries. We have some of our best players are injury prone, and I know that, like, you could sit there and go, well, hindsight's 2020. We lost Chukwuemeke this week, but I mean, we lost both our 10s. We've lost our starting right back. And I like Malo Gusto, but there is definitely a drop in quality. My worry is, we're still got a lot growing, and we have a bad track record with bad history with injuries. So as long as everyone can stay fit, because I'm telling you, the next person that goes out, if a next person goes out, it's going to be Chilwell or Thiago Silva. And
I'm not too fussed about Thiago Silva just because we have backup and Badiashile is coming back.
Right.
If Chilwell goes out, he better fucking play Matson.
Yeah.
I do not want to see Cucurella in that goddamn starting lineup.
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
And I agree with you. But that's what I mean. Like, whatever, if like I said last week, if we continue to lose players, our depth, while we have a lot of youngsters, there is definitely a significant drop in quality. and it's fine for what we're in right now, which is 2 domestic competitions and and the league, because these guys, we can play the youngsters in those domestic competitions, rest those starting lineup players. But when you really look at the team, like once we start dropping some of the bigger names, there is a big drop in quality. It's a lot more youngsters that are unproven, and that's fine. I'm willing to give them the opportunities, but we don't have the depth that Arsenal did last season or a Tottenham do this season. And I know they got Europe, but like we don't have that depth, and that's what makes me think that like we'll be somewhere between. You're probably right, 5th or 7th, but I just that last game against West Ham really convinced me that there's still a long way to go, and and that's fine. I signed up for a long project, but there is a long way to go.
All right, I said 3rd to 5th. I didn't say 5th to 7th.
I'm saying 5th to 7th.
Okay.
I think it'll be 5th. I think the best is 5th. I think the worst is 7th.
Okay.
We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. If we get 2nd, I'm great. I'm happy. Chill.
Daniel,
Yeah.
move us along.
Yeah, I was gonna say something
I
about
agree.
Caicedo, but it's all good.
Say it.
It was just gonna be a quick comment.
Take shots.
He's gonna take shots.
It was just gonna be a quick comment about Caicedo. I was just gonna say, like, I know it's not his fault that Chelsea bought him for 115 mil or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that's not his fault. Like, it just is what it is. But now he's Britain's all-time most expensive player, and I know he hasn't. I know you guys made a lot of valid points about how he hasn't had enough game time in preseason. He hasn't trained enough with the Chelsea squad and all that. But say what you want, and it's fine, it's valid, but it's still unexcusable for the way that he played. Like, I'm not saying that he should have been amazing. He should have not been that bad. And with a price tag as the one that he has, there is no excuse for that.
There is an excuse for him to play that way. There's an excuse as to why he's on the pitch to begin with. Is what I'm saying. My whole thing is I'm not going to take away from the fact that he was awful. He was fucking awful.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that I think Poch made a huge mistake putting him in for no fucking reason. There's no need to have him on there. There's no need. Why?
Right.
If the man has played 25 minutes in fucking preseason and didn't practice for like 3 weeks because he had a hamstring injury, don't fucking play the motherfucker.
No, I agree.
Play a good Chukwu and let the man continue on with his preseason during the season.
Right. No, I agree.
Now he has no confidence and he's fucking shot for the Luton game.
I'm just saying that, like, and again, like I said, it's not his fault. Like, it is what it is. Like, the price tag, like, he's just going to have to live with that. And he's just going to have to, like, I do agree he's going to be good, but he's just not going to, it's a bad start for him. That's all I was just going to say.
No.
But moving along, we have
Shitty.
We have City, and then we have Arsenal. But there are 2 kind of lackluster games, so I'm just kind of trying to figure out if I want to start with City or start with Arsenal.
We already did spend a lot of time on the other 2 games, so
Yeah.
Let's just do Arsenal. Get it over real quick. There's not much to say about it. Starting Tomiyasu at left back instead of right back is weird, and then him getting sent off just. I don't know, man. He's a changed player from his first season.
It's that injury, man.
It's not even the injury. It's not even just that. It's just like his mentality, his like decision making. I don't know.
Well, I'm saying after his first injury, he was changed.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about his decision making too. I'm not just talking about his injury.
No, but I'm just saying that, like, his injury, like, that changed everything. Because when he first got there, he was actually a solid right back. Then after his first injury, where he was sidelined for, I don't remember how long, but he was sidelined for a while, and then Ben.
He was out for the rest of the. When he got injured, he was out for the rest of the season.
Okay.
But I mean, there was like a month or 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Still think we should have bought a right back, but and a left back, because I don't know what's going on with there. I guess Zinchenko's injured. I don't know why he's not playing Tierney. I'm just glad we ended up getting a win. I don't care what fashion was. I don't care how controversial it was. Whatever. Yep. Shit happens. We played a shitty game. We still won.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Everyone picks up a controversial win from time to time. It happens. It's just fun to banter you.
Yeah, but it's not that it happens. He has to. The sign of a champion is being able to grind out those 1-0s when everything's going against you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's a fucking champion now because of one fucking game. It's Crystal Palace, but he got over the hump. Let's see if he can continue to get over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, we had to grind out wins last season and still weren't champions. So
not like this though.
That's because you fell apart.
Yeah,
like it's that's what I mean. Is like the champion has to continuously grind it out through the season, not fall apart at January because you got fucking Jorginho in.
Yeah, and this was a big win because I mean like Abdon's saying, last season you guys didn't grind out wins. You guys took
Arsenal last season would have lost that game.
Yeah, last season they would have lost the game. You guys won a couple games you were trailing, but this was different. You guys last season did give up some leads, and you holding on to this lead is big, I think, and it's a big learning experience for the whole squad. You know, they had to learn, and they were at I know we say Crystal Palace is like a whatever team, but Crystal Palace at home is a difficult team. We've seen them multiple times in the past take down big teams, so it is a good win for Arteta.
Yeah. And it was also a lucky win because it should have been a penalty.
Nah. No, you're right.
Ain't no way.
But he touched the ball. He touched the ball after he took the guy out, but he touched the ball.
Bless you.
After he took the guy out?
That's why I said what I said. I agree with you.
He touched the leg first?
I agree with you. I think it should have been a penalty. You know, maybe Ramsdale saves it, maybe he doesn't, but it should have been a penalty. You know? I also think that had they gotten that penalty, that game is different. I think Arsenal would have gone on to lose. I think they would have been rounded after that.
Maybe it's a tie.
Yeah. But
or maybe Arsenal just fucking turns it back on.
I don't know. I just you looked at it once they got the red card. I think Crystal Palace had 88% of the possession.
All I remember is the fucking Havertz half volley off of his knee.
Ooh, that was
going across the goal.
It was close. It looked good.
He does not have the facilities for that.
He did it. He almost did it.
Nah, that was going straight. No curve on that bitch. There's no penalty.
I agree.
No curve on that bitch.
But I do think it was good for Arsenal as a whole, you know, learn to manage those games. It's a good learning experience.
Yeah, better to learn from a win than have to learn from a loss or a draw.
And you guys got 2 wins back to back in the first 2 weekends, you know. It wasn't their best performance, but
it's what he needed. It's what you need.
I'm complaining about the amount of red cards that we have under Arteta, mainly, and him putting Partey at left back or at right back for some reason, and Tomiyasu at left back. Like, put players in the positions, man.
I think the Tomiyasu one, while you're right, I do think, yes, by the law's definition, watching the play back, it was a red card. I also think it was a really harsh red card. You know, like, and when you guys were talking about Tomiyasu not being the same right back, I don't think it's necessarily not being the same level as he was before. I think it's kind of a issue of he was dropped, and you kind of feel like, you know, when he was physically fit, but not match sharp. You know, he didn't have enough playing time under his belt. Arteta kind of lost faith in him because Arteta played him in some of the biggest games last season. You know, when he probably shouldn't have been playing. And
it wasn't last season because Ben White ended up doing so well at right back. He was like, well, I'm not going to disturb the defense right now with Tomiyasu coming back. but I mean, like Tomiyasu's got to be able to digest that as a professional player and just
Right,
you
and
know,
I know this.
it kind of sucks. Like it's gonna do something to your confidence, but at the same time, like you can't just I don't know, drop off.
Right, but I'm not talking about that. Like when he came back from injury, when he wasn't match fit, one of the first games he came back to was against Manchester City in the league. That's not fair to him either.
No.
Like he's not match fit for that. Like he's not in the right state of mind for that. Kind of like the same thing as Adam was saying for Caicedo. Like that's unfair on Tomiyasu because you're putting him in the position of basically fail. You're setting him up for failure, and he did, and you can see it did affect his confidence. And I'm
aware, and I am mostly questioning Arteta's decision making a little bit. Like why? Like obviously we're doing fine still, but stuff like this might affect bigger like games down the road and cost us points.
It might. I also think that the Arteta that you guys first got versus the Arteta now is learning two different sides of managing. Whereas, like, when he was in 8th place, he was learning how to basically be a better coach, get these guys playing out their skins, leveling them up and learning that side of the game. Whereas now he has to learn how to manage depth. And when's a good time to bring in certain players, when's a bad time to bring in certain players, when are good times to, substitute players in and out of games because you're planning for the schedule ahead. That's another big part, And I criticize Pep Guardiola a lot, but that's something that Pep Guardiola is really good about. Pulling out players even when they don't want to come out because you're going to need them for bigger games. So, that's something that he's having to learn. And you're right, he's not done well so far, but last season was the first season he really had to deal with it. We'll see how he does this season.
Man.
Strong words for someone that didn't watch him play.
I mean,
Ooh.
What am I supposed to say to that? I mean, you're right.
I know.
I know. Just gotta eat it and go on.
I think it's just because you have no excuse because you can watch it.
I'm more committed to the gym than anything else.
I can't relate.
Moving to City United.
City United.
Newcastle United.
Newcastle United.
Dan, what did you think about City's overall performance?
I only got to see the highlights, so didn't watch the game. I couldn't. I was at work. Apart from the Julian Alvarez goal,
which was a great fucking strike.
It was a great goal.
Great goal.
Great goal.
I've seen better.
Shut up. You're sitting in what, 13th?
15th.
Pipe down. It's kind of a.
You're hard, aren't you?
So what?
You're hard, aren't you?
I'm hard.
You haven't seen that meme, have you? You haven't seen that meme, have you? Where it's like, I don't remember the guy, but he's like, "Ooh, you're hard, aren't you?"
Oh my gosh!
I don't know what you're talking about. You're gonna.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
I'll send it in the group later. I got you.
I also don't know what you're talking about.
I'll send it in the group. I got you. Continue.
Okay, but I was just gonna say that overall, like, the only big highlights is the fact that we don't have De Bruyne, and without De Bruyne, Holland's definitely a lot weaker up front, in front of goal. And he had some opportunities. He should have scored at least 2 goals, but with De Bruyne, he could have easily gotten 5 or 6 goals, like how we normally would have last season, like at City, how we were last season when we had him fit. But yeah, I think the only big thing going forward, at least until we get De Bruyne back, which won't be until December, which is a really long time. It's just Holland having to adapt without having like a true playmaker sitting right behind him, feeding him deliveries so that he can slot him into the back of the net. But apart from that, I think we played fine. There was nothing really stellar about that game in general. Like, we were kind of at a stalemate for the most part, at least from what the highlights showed me.
Well,
from what I heard,
go ahead.
From what I heard, Foden cooked. like
Foden was
crazy.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
didn't see much of the highlights of Foden, so I can't really say.
Yeah, Foden
Um,
played good.
I watched I don't even remember what it's called. But they were talking about Foden and how good he was. And he was saying like he's teams that are coming up against Man City are like, yes, they don't have Kevin De Bruyne, and then as soon as they start playing against Foden, they're like, fuck, they still have Foden. So, and then Holland, I don't know, maybe it's probably just a one-off game for him missing all those chances.
Where it was a one-off
Yeah.
season.
Relax, Abdon.
If it was a
Riddle-
one-off season, it was an amazing.
Riddle me this. Can Jeremy Doku play Cam?
Does he know?
He could, but that's not his best position. He can play
I was
Cam.
going to
He's played
say
it
he's a
before.
winger, and
I know
maybe
he's a winger, but
The
a
thing is,
lot
you don't
of
wanna take Foden out of the 10.
a lot of wingers can move into that midfield. Like we see it all the time.
Yeah,
A lot of
And
wingers
I'm
can
sure
do
Why was
that.
Foden not though?
But is that where Foden's playing right now?
Yeah, I think that's why Abdon was saying. Like, I think that's why they signed him, Doku, because then you free
To
up.
take
Foden.
to essentially take
And then
Foden's spot.
If
Yeah.
you take
if have
Foden for
Doku
it.
there, did you just have Silva backing him up? Or wait, just kidding. No, you don't.
Yeah, you
Or
do.
do you? I don't. Did he
Or-
leave? I don't remember.
No, Silva's still
Bernardo
there.
Silva's
No,
staying.
Silva's still there.
But that's a signing
I can't
they
remember because
desperately
he's
needed.
still having it in Saudi Arabia.
Right. No, but that's a sign they desperately needed, right, Dan? Like I said last week, like you needed more wingers, and now having another
He's
winger
more
that can
everything.
play.
This motherfucker has no bench.
Yeah.
You guys have no bench. Let's be honest here. But like the thing is, let's be honest here. At some point, you got to start thinking about life without Kevin De Bruyne.
Right.
Life after Kevin De Bruyne.
No, it's going to happen. Yeah.
I think this is the season to fucking start tinkering with the system. And once Foden fucking finds his feet, I don't think you drop Foden and move everything back for De Bruyne just because he's back.
Mhm.
I think you got to start. I think if Pep wants to be successful, unless Pep wants to fucking leave after his contract.
He might.
But if Pep wants to be successful post De Bruyne, you got to start looking at Foden, because maybe the video you watched didn't show it, but he was sensational.
It was the NBC Sports highlights. I saw like one or two, but I didn't see very many.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Daniel. Like what Abdon is saying, I agree 100%. Like I think if you have to start building around Foden, because I think
Right.
we've all said that Foden is an unbelievable talent. He could be a Ballon d'Or winner. That's what a lot of people have said. I think in a Cam position, that's where you see that. I think that's where you see the levels go up.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Abdon. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I mean, that was pretty much it. The man was sensational. Like he maybe he didn't account for too many assists or goals like Holland does, but I mean it was Newcastle United. They're a very organized team.
Yeah.
So let's see how. I mean, who do you play next?
I don't know. I haven't checked our schedule. Let me see.
While you,
We play.
while you check that, I was just saying
Sheffield United.
for all
Sheffield
the
United.
for all the Geordies out there, I think that I think Newcastle crumbled under the pressure. To be honest, I think that they didn't play as well as they could. And I think that really hindered what we thought was going to be a blockbuster game, because it almost seemed like they gave them way too much respect. They gave Manchester City way too much respect, and
Scared.
yeah, they were. It seemed like they were scared 100%.
They didn't want to play their game. They weren't fucking doing anything. They were reserved. They were sitting back. They didn't want to be scored on.
Yeah, and they got scored on. It was a tragedy. But I agree with Abdon. They looked very passive and very scared, and they were trying to not concede, when in reality they should have taken the game in the City, because they have more than enough quality in that starting lineup to do so. And
Right.
all of their big players kind of fell flat,
Well,
which is why I think
yeah.
that it was a shame, because I think that game could have been much more tougher, and we would have seen a lot more City and like how City responds to that kind of pressure. But Newcastle United kind of fluffed their lines on that one.
Yeah, I heard Bruno had a bit of a shocker. Dude, I heard Almiron was abysmal.
Oh, Almiron went back to 4 years ago, where he couldn't string a pass together.
Almiron
yeah,
was non-existent.
he was-
They said he went back to
MLS
Bruno
challenge.
Almiron.
Dude, there were certain plays where like he had a fullback overlapping him, and like any other player, you would think like doesn't matter who you're playing against, you would think that okay, you will pass it on, to that fullback, let them make a cross, kind of make that spread that city defense. He wasn't doing those. He wasn't making those decisions. He was trying to cross when he shouldn't have. He was trying to shoot when he shouldn't have. He was trying to take on players when he should have been thinking about the team. And he lost more possession than he did anything else. Like, it was really poor from Almiron.
I heard he wasn't even taking on players. Like, he was scared to take on players.
He took, like, 2 players on, and both times he lost the ball. One of them was Jack Grealish, and Jack Grealish, that was a dope-ass tackle.
You can't take on Jack Grealish. Like, come on.
Nah, Jack Grealish won that ball cleanly. Jack Grealish is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's fair. But, like, if you can't get past him, like, you're not Premier League quality.
Okay.
He's not even a defender.
Okay, and?
And I do think fucking you gotta drop Jack Grealish once KDB comes back.
You have to drop
You
Jack
said
Grealish?
You gotta drop Grealish once KDB comes back.
Whoa! Nah!
For Doku and
I'll let Pep decide
Foden?
that. I just know that when he comes back,
But you're not going to.
he is going to play. Like
Well,
there's,
Doku's
I
gotta
agree.
improve
Like,
it,
we have to start investing time because De Bruyne's 32, going on to be 33 this season. So even though he's still got some time, he's not slowing down at all. But at the same time,
He's not
injuries
moving right
are
now.
starting to creep up into his game. It's starting to become a little bit more common than I would like it to, but we are going to have to start picturing life without him. But until then, I just know that Pep is going to play him. Like, that's just what it is. I don't know if he's going to drop Grealish. He's probably going to drop Foden, unless Foden continues this run of games.
You think he would keep Doku in over Foden?
Yeah, you can't drop Foden. If Foden is playing
Probably
like
not.
this week in, week out, you cannot drop
Yeah, if
him.
he's playing week in, week out, you'll probably drop Doku. Yeah.
I would think the front three would be Foden, Holland, and one of Doku or Grealish, whoever's playing better.
Right. Yeah, it's probably going to be.
Foden plays.
I
on
mean,
the
right
left.
now, it's
Since
probably
Doku's
gonna be
never played in the Prem,
right.
it'll just depend on how he adapts to the league.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be Doku more likely, but
Yeah,
it's exactly like you said. It's whoever's going to be playing, I guess, worse than those.
that'll get dropped. Yeah,
Yeah. So
Does Foden play on the left or the right?
he plays on the left.
He's playing on the right. And Newcastle.
Well, he's a traditional left winger, but he does play both sides.
I mean, Silva can play right wing as well.
Yeah, but he's been transitioned into more of a center mid now for
I'm just
City,
kidding.
anyways.
I'm just
Because I
saying.
know at Monaco he was a right winger, and then we did play with him as a right winger, but he just became a center mid for us in like the last few seasons.
Yeah,
So
but he's also there.
yeah, he's definitely an option, and yeah, I think he was part of. I think he played right wing like most of the Champions League as well. So he's definitely an option too, but it's wherever Pep wants all these players at, and where he sees them as their best. So
Pep doesn't know shit. Don't let Pep decide things.
Oh
oh my
Lord.
gosh,
Oh.
we're
I'm
not
ending
doing
it
this,
before this
Daniel.
whole-
Yeah, move us
Yeah.
along.
Daniel, pull up
Um,
immaculate grid.
Huh?
Pull up immaculate grid.
What?
I'll do
He's
that
on
after
his
the
phone.
pod.
He's on his phone, so he can't.
Yeah, I'll do that after the pod. But do we have anything else that we want to talk about quickly, or anything that we brushed over?
Mason Greenwood.
Oh.
I just want to say
Next.
really quickly that I respect Manchester United for not, bringing them back in the squad. I also think that if it wasn't such negative publicity, they would have done it in a heartbeat. And I know there's a lot of people that are saying, like, obviously he's been acquitted of the charges. I mean, he's back with the girl that was the alleged, victim of domestic abuse. But how many times have we seen in domestic abuse, relationships that people get back with their abuser? Like, it's a normal thing. Like, I just don't think that just because he was acquitted of the accusations and that he's waiting to have a child with this woman, means that he didn't do what he did and that he should be forgiven. That being said, I don't necessarily think, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. And I was fine if he went and continued his football somewhere else, in a lower league and built his way back up, rebuilt his reputation, Because he's 21, but I also think that him going to the Saudi Arabia League is actually a really bad move for football in the sense of, now we're paying this kid way more than he would have made at Manchester United. We're putting him in a country where he probably won't be looked at or scrutinized the same way, which might be good for him because, we all know how. Yeah, we all know how Saudi Arabia view relationships and women in that country. Not that everyone has their own opinion, everyone has their own lifestyle they like living, but I just don't think it's a good move for football because especially I think that just kind of gives people incentive to go to Saudi Arabia if he does well, if he doesn't get scrutiny like he did in other countries, to continue doing things that he may or may not have done, but most likely did.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I wanted to say on the whole situation.
I mean, I said it in the group chat, he's going to fit in, and they'll probably just brush it off as nothing. And
they're not even thinking about that, probably. They don't even care.
I really don't think he even goes anywhere else. I really don't see any club in Europe picking him up because of all this controversy. So, as much as I don't like the move as much as I don't like the Saudis growing as a league, I honestly think going to Saudi Arabia for him, for his career, I think it's a good move. If he wants to continue playing, obviously he's going to be playing for money at that point. Well, I think he'll be playing for money, but if he wants to, I don't know, be serious, he's 21, he still has a whole career ahead of him. So, I think that's really the only place he could really play.
Right.
I mean, obviously, none of us condone, what he did and anything like that.
Absolutely not.
Want to make sure that that's out there. I know, Jose, you said that. Just to reiterate, it's terrible.
Tough situation. Shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I've seen reports that even the Saudi league doesn't want.
That's crazy.
Which is good, and
and I'm just it's so funny that this is where they draw the line. You know what I mean? They let all this other stuff slide, all these other things that they do, all these other beliefs that they can't get behind, that they murder people for, that they stone people for. They don't allow women at soccer events. They don't allow women to show skin. They kill a gay person if they saw. They would probably shoot someone who doesn't look like. But this is wrong. This is where they draw the line. It just does not that just does not make sense. I'm not saying that he deserves a chance to play. I guess he does, but at the same time, I'm not saying that the Saudi league should welcome him with open arms, even though he's a rapist, or assault or whatever. I'm just saying, it's just so ironic to me that they allow all this other shit and their country stands for all this other shit, but this is where they draw the line. You see what I'm saying? It's weird.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. And I think that I there's a part of me that does think, as much as I don't like that I think this way, I feel like there are lots of people that deserve a second chance. Him not being
absolutely.
Him not being committed of anything, like I said earlier, there is lots of evidence that shows that this is a common thing in a lot of abusive relationships. But if in reality, we don't know the situation, we don't know them. I'm not opposed to him being able to play. I just don't think he should be getting paid lots of money to do that. I think he should be able to go down to the Championship or League One, rebuild his reputation, and then if he goes a couple years, then the public's perception changes. He should be able to move up and play and compete. But I know a lot of people don't like that because a lot of people think that on merit his ability is higher. than that. And I would agree, but I also think that when you make dumb decisions, you have to kind of face those consequences. And whether or not he was charged or not, I think that there was enough evidence to show that he did, have some bad tendencies in that relationship. I'm not saying everyone, doesn't make mistakes, but it seemed like it was a continuous slope. So, but again, I don't know them. I just think that for the publicity that it's gotten, for the backlash he's gotten, I just don't think that should be something that the Saudi Arabian league or any league pays him large monies for it. Because at this point, he should be paying people to play, not the other way around. In my opinion, maybe not pay, but like he should be begging for teams to sign him, not for teams to be begging for his signature. In my opinion.
Yeah. And also just whether he actually, there's a lot of evidence supporting that he did do this, but even if for whatever reason he didn't do this, his reputation's ruined. Like there's nothing he can do to rebuild it. He's a rapist, he's an abuser, and he's gonna live with that for the rest of his life. Like there's nothing you can do to rebuild it.
I think the only way would be. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say that there's just nothing he can do.
I think if they did a really big investigation and a public investigation and it came out that there was more evidence that he didn't do any of those things he committed, I think that would change perspective. But I think when all these teams are doing internal investigations and are coming to terms with it and going like, nah, we'd rather not, I think that just kind of further proves that, like what you're saying, he did it. But I think the only way would be if they did a public investigation where I don't know, it showed there was more evidence like for him than against him. It would be different, but every investigation has led to more things against him than for him.
Right.
So
even if they did, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. That's all I was gonna say. There's nothing really you can do about that.
Yeah, and even if they did do that, and if it did go into his favor, and like he's like 100% cleared, like he did none of that, and like all of it was framed and whatever, there's still going to be that small margin of people who still believed he did all that, and that's obviously not fair to him. And I'm just saying, this is just total hypothetical, but if he were to be 100% cleared, there's still going to be that small, he really cannot go back from this, like at all. Yeah. Like it just is what it is. Like his life's ruined, and if that were to be the case, it's really shitty. But like it's like the same thing with Johnny Depp. Like he did nothing in that relationship. I don't want to say nothing, but he did nothing. Like in terms of like putting his finger on Amber Heard, he did nothing of that. He did nothing of that nature. But his life's ruined. Not super ruined to where like he can't get a job, but his reputation's ruined. And it's the same thing with Greenwood if he was dealing with that same situation. So, and that's shitty, but like that's just life.
Fair.
So, but does anybody else have anything else to say about anything?
Burnley made a huge signing.
Who was it?
Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah, from Aston Villa.
Yeah, you were just talking about him earlier. I forgot.
Well, that's Arsenal's Aaron Ramsey that went to Cardiff. And then Burnley signed Aaron Ramsey from
Aston Villa. Yeah,
I thought his name was first name wasn't Aaron. I thought it was something else. But
there's his brother. He has a brother who also plays for Villa. It's Jacob Ramsey, I think.
Oh, that's the good one.
The good one is Jacob Ramsey. Yeah.
We'll see. Well,
Aston Villa's Aaron Ramsey's 20, so he could, he's a prospect.
Yeah, we'll see how he turns out.
Yeah.
Fair. But yeah, I think that's everything, Daniel.
I think that covers it.
All right. Well, next week it'll be match week 3. Hopefully, City goes on to win more games as per usual. Chelsea come out of their slump. Maybe not. Tottenham still trusting in Ange in the process, and maybe Arsenal fumbling a game. We'll see what happens.
But
until then,
woo!
Wait, what'd you say?
I think everyone here is in agreement on that one.
Even the Arsenal fans do.
Go Fulham.
But until then, we'll be signing off. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
See ya.
Deuces.